up, y'all? Oh my gosh. Hold on, y'all. Let me wipe my phone real quick. Let me wipe my phone real quick. Because I feel like I was a little blurry. What's up, y'all? Oh my goodness. What's up, y'all? Tasha checking in with another video. And this is going to be my very late Tasha's Topics, okay? If it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video. Comment in the comments section and subscribe to the channel. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Y'all, I was supposed to be out here at 6:30 doing these topics, and baby, I overslept. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I overslept, and a part of me was like, oh, Tasha, just cancel the live. But life of a nighttime worker, y'all, I really overslept, and I'm sorry. That is my fault, my bad. I know y'all was, if y'all rock with me, y'all was just like, where the heck is Tasha at? Why is she not on with these topics? Ooh. So I'm sorry, y'all. So we gonna get into it, y'all. Please don't hold it to me, y'all. Please still rock with me. And then, child, my head is doing a new thing. I do not know what's going on. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for understanding in advance. All right, y'all. So let's get started with these hot topics. First up on the hot topic list is happy birthday goes out to Halle Bailey. She is turning 25. Happy birthday to her. I think her birthday was like 2 days ago. Y'all know she is part of the duo. What is the group? Well, Holly and Chloe. You know, her sister is Chloe. I don't even think they ever had a name. It was just Holly and Chloe. And so she, they came out and they sung and everything like that. They have beautiful voices and things of that nature. Y'all know she just had a little baby not too long ago by I think he's a rapper. I don't know his name, child. But whatever, y'all, if y'all don't know her, just go ahead and Google her. But Halle Bailey is her name, and she is turning 25, or did turn 25 a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Halle Bailey. Okay, moving on to the next topic, y'all. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., what's up, cats are the best? How are you? Thank you for joining the live. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., okay, plans to cut 10,000 jobs from the Department of Human Services. What's up, the mysterious kid? How you doing? He plans to cut 10,000 jobs from the Department of Human Services. Now, it breaks down like this, okay? This is Hot Topics. This is what I do each and every week. About current events and things going on in the U.S. and in the world. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, Tasha's Topics. So he says that he's going to cut 3,500 jobs from the Food and Drug Administration, 2,400 from the Center of Disease Control, 1,200 from the National Institutes of Health, and 300 from Centers of Medicare and Medicaid. Okay, now, so thank you for being new. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if y'all wondering how is he able to cut anything, okay, what's going on, hold. If I can't see y'all names, I'm sorry, the light is in my face, but welcome to everybody. He is actually the Secretary of Health and Human Services under the Trump administration as of February 13th, okay? And so he got that position with a vote of, what's up, Jeffrey? With a vote of 52 to 48. Now, I don't know Robert F. Kennedy Jr. personally, and Trump says that he wants the Department of Health and Human Services to basically be better than it has been. They handle the food and they handle all types of things related to human services, and so this is why he appointed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because he felt like he was going to be the perfect person, okay? Thank you for liking the video, Cass. And so y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know Robert F. Kennedy personally, but I do believe that our Department of Health and Human Services in the U.S. do need to be a little better. As far as though when it comes to terminating people, I just feel that it is just so it touches my heart when people have to lose their job. And I just really really, really, really just do not like, when something like that happens. I really just hate when someone loses their job, right? And so, but they have to make these cuts. I guess they're thinking, things have been ran a certain way under the Biden administration, so now they're going to try to do something totally different, okay? So I'll let y'all know what happens with that. Really praying for the people that are going to lose their job, haven't already, but they're going to. And so I'm just hoping and praying that they're not totally affected by this, and that the plans that this administration has, in the beginning, it looks a little rough, but hopefully, in time, they will show us that it's a good plan to move us forward as a country. Okay, so that's that story. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, live watchers and replay watchers, and let's move on to the next topic. All right, so this story right here was really crazy. When I say crazy, it was crazy. So paint the picture, right? We have a babysitter. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. Okay, the air about to go off in a minute. It got a little cold in here. So paint this picture, right? So you're a parent. You going out for a night on the town, and you are booking a babysitter. Okay, that's what this household did. So they booked a babysitter. So the babysitter, you know how kids say there's a monster under my bed, or there's a monster in my closet, and sometimes we'll just go and entertain them and check it, and then sometimes we'll be like, well, there's no monsters in here. Don't be, worry about it. This time, I'm so glad that the babysitter listened to the child and did not just dismiss it, because it was not a monster under the child's bed. It was a grown man, okay? This is the story. So babysitter checks for a monster under the child's bed and finds a grown man. This happened in Kansas. The babysitter stated after finding the man, an altercation ensued. This happened on March 24th at 10:30 p.m. She then, when he got out from under the bed, he knocked her and the child over, okay? And he fled the scene before deputies arrived. Police found the suspect, though, the next morning, and he is 27-year-old Martin Villalopez Jr. He was a former resident of the home and was under a protection order banning him from the property. So this is a very scary, crazy story. I could not even imagine how the child felt, let alone the babysitter. In my opinion, I'm thinking that Martin, maybe it's somebody he used to mess with in the house, because if you have a protection banning order and you used to live there, what they didn't say if he used to live there in the past, or if he was messing with the mom, maybe they broke up and she got a protection order against him and he couldn't let that go. I don't know. However, right now he is in Barton County Jail. I guess that's in Kansas. He's in jail. And he is facing multiple charges. He is facing aggravated kidnapping, child endangerment, and violating a protection order. And his bond is set at $500,000. Wow, what a story, what a story. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. That's very scary. From that point on, even as a parent, I would want to move, because I wouldn't even, because if he makes bond, who's to say that he's not crazy enough to come back to the house and do something else crazy? So if it was me and that was my house, I would want to move, because I would be in fear of my child and everything like that just happened. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that story. That's really wild, really crazy. Let's move on to the next topic. And if I look to the side, I am looking at my notes because I take them. This one was crazy to me, and it hit a nerve because I like Marvin Sapp. I like Marvin Sapp. I like his music. I don't know him personally, but let me just say I like his music in the Christian music industry, right? The gospel industry. And so when I heard this story, I was just like, Marvin, what are you doing, sir? Sit down somewhere. What are you really doing, right? So it says Marvin Sapp closed doors of the church to gather $40,000 from the congregation. He asked for $20 from 1,000 people that was in the congregation and from people who was watching online. So it was one good old Sunday recently, right? So the people in the church, I guess it was his church, right? He got 1,000 people up in there. And he said, I'm going to need to raise 40K right now. He told the ushers, and the video, shout out to Shade Room, was posted on Shade Room if y'all want to go see it. Shade Room is a site that gathers hot topics as well, but they're on a much bigger platform, and they are on Instagram, so you can go look them up. So he tells the ushers over the mic, close the doors. He was like, yeah, close the doors, close them. Because I know the ushers was looking like, close the doors, like what the heck is about to happen, right? And it's crazy how people have their own mind and they're thinking that this sounds crazy, but then because pastors say do it, now all of a sudden they just do it without thinking for themselves or using the Holy Spirit to guide them, right? So the ushers closed the door, child. When they closed the door, he then goes on to tell the people that I'm going to need $20. It's very reasonable and doable. $20 out of all of y'all in the audience. And then on stage, the clergy, he says, y'all already gave, but I'm going to need $100 from y'all on the stage. Because y'all are, it costs to be up here. Sir, let me just say, impart some wisdom. Let me impart some wisdom, okay? I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I would never hide it, right? And the thing is that when you go to church, there is tithes and offering. If this is for people who just do not know, there are tithes and offering. The Bible tells us to give 10% of our income, right? And so that is the tithe part of church when you go, right? And then when you the offering, you really don't, you could give however the Lord leads your heart, right? That is what's supposed to happen. If you don't have anything to give when you go to church, you are fine. You don't have to give. It is optional. Now with tithing, the word does tell us to do that. But with offering, it's up to you. Whatever you have, you can give, and that's it. And if you don't have nothing, God bless you. Hopefully you have something the next time. It is not up to any pastor, and this is Marvin Sapp, this story that happened, but any pastor, if you go to church and a pastor tells them to close the doors and give me $20, you need to be beelining out of that church because that is not okay, and that is not what the Christian community should be about. You take your offering, sir, and whatever it is, you pray over it and you pay the bills of the church and you ask God to bless the church. You don't hold people hostage and then turn around and tell them they got to give you $20. First of all, if you lock somebody in a room holding them hostage saying everybody got to give me $20, isn't that robbery? Like, I'm just trying to understand. Y'all let me know in the comments, in the replay and live watches, like, isn't that considered robbery? In your opinion, in my opinion, I feel like it's robbery. Because you holding somebody hostage telling them, give me this. And basically, I'm not opening the doors till I get it type thing, you know. So I don't know what was up with that. Like I said, I don't know Marvin Sapp personally. I like Marvin Sapp's music. However, I have seen videos of Marvin Sapp before this, and when Kirk Franklin was, wilding out with the dancing and the tight clothes, Marvin Sapp was right on stage at one point, kind of grooving with him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm hoping that Marvin Sapp is not this way. I'm hoping that it was a bad edit, right? I really, really am. But as far as we know, as far as the story goes, this is what they said happened. And I'm just kind of like, this is really crazy. If you ever go to a church where they do this, get out of the church, because that is not the way that the Christian community operates. And furthermore, I just want to say too, that this is why a lot of people will say after this type of story comes out, well, this is why I don't go to church and this is why I don't do this. And really, that's not the reason why you don't go. But they look for stories like this pertaining to the Christian community as to reasons why they don't go to church, right? They look for this. Now, you have feel-good stories like 2819 Church, I think it is. That pastor blessed 2 families with a large sum of money recently to help them. That was was a feel-good story. But then you get stories like this with Marvin Sapp demanding money from the congregation, and then people just use this story and they block out the good ones or the feel-good ones, and they just run with this and say, that's why I don't go to church. Stop it. That's not why. However, I just hate when stories like this about the Christian community comes out, because then it makes the people want to say vile things about a faith that I, practice. So we'll see what happens with this story. If anything else happens, comes out, I would definitely let you all know. All right, let's get into the next topic. Will Smith. Okay, I used to love Will Smith. And let me just say this. I don't hate Will Smith now. Like, I really don't. Like, I still think that Will Smith is a talented actor in light of what he did to Chris Rock back some years back, right? But that ain't what the story is about. So Will Smith gets a street named after him, okay? So in West Philadelphia, born and raised, right? We all know Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? That was my show back in the day. Will Smith actually gets a street named after him, and it happened yesterday, okay? It's located on the 200 block of North 59th Street in West Philadelphia, in Philadelphia's Overlook section. And it's right where he went to high school at. Like, I think he went to a high school called Overlook High School in Philadelphia as well. And so, congratulations to Will Smith. I mean, that is a huge honor to have a street named after you. Again, I don't know all of the inner workings of any of these celebrities, right? And I never put any one of them on a pedestal, because in my mind, none of them deserve that. Only Jesus deserves a platform and a pedestal to be put on. But again, like I said, I was a fan of Will Smith. I still think he's a talented actor. My perspective on him has slightly been changed as I get older, only because certain things that has come out about his marriage, the slap that he did, certain things with his lifestyle possibly, but that still doesn't make me not like him or hate him or anything like that. I just have my own perspective and viewpoint on how he is as a person. However, that's just me, and congratulations goes out to him for the street name. I mean, that is an honor to have that happen. So, yeah. Congratulations to Will Smith. Let's move on to the next story, y'all. Sexyy Red. Sexyy Red is the topic of the new story. Now, if y'all don't know who Sexyy Red is, she is a rapper, okay? She has that song out, Get It Sexy, that song, okay? It's a bop. It's catchy. I can get how people would like it, right? However, she is facing a lawsuit, okay? The story is Sexyy Red is facing a lawsuit after asking her fans to kick in her child's grandmother's door. Now, and then she asked them to beat her up once they kicked the door in. Now, the grandmother is seeking $5 million after claiming she and her family had to relocate for safety. She has also said she needed therapy and wants this money for emotional distress. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the Sexyy Red story. I don't know, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know if this actually happened. This was a report that was given about this case. I don't put it past anybody to do anything these days, because sometimes people will say, oh my God, that would never happen. She doesn't give me those type of vibes. However, if you watch some of her stuff on YouTube and you just Google her and you see her and everything like that, I don't want to say judge a book by its cover. However, if you don't want people to judge a book by its cover, sometimes you got to change the cover. You know what I'm saying? Because what you put on the cover, 9 times out of 10, people are going to assume that you're a certain way, or that is what your book is about as a person. And if y'all hear noise in the background, that's my air conditioner that just came on. So, excuse me. So Sexyy Red has this lawsuit out. And I really, for her sake, hope that it is not true. I really hope that it's not true. But we shall see what happened. Sexyy Red has not come out and said anything about it to dispel the rumors of this. However, the grandma is saying she filed a lawsuit and this is what happened. So I don't know her grandmother either, but why would anybody make up a lawsuit like this for $5 million just to get $5 million? You know what I'm saying? Because Sexy Red could then in turn sue her for defamation and all of this other stuff. But we shall see what happens with this Sexy Red lawsuit. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm gonna say allegedly. Let's move on to the next story, y'all. So, 42 years ago today, Michael Jackson performed his famous moonwalk for the first time at the Motown 25 ceremony. We all know Michael Jackson is a pop star. Some say he's the biggest pop star of our time. And today he released the moonwalk when he was on stage performing one of his songs. And this is the anniversary of that time today. Can y'all do the moonwalk? Now, I would get up and I would probably show y'all. But I can't do it, right? And then I got carpet in my apartment, so ain't no way it would have went over like Michael Jackson's, right? However, y'all know Michael Jackson, unfortunately, he passed some years back. But he was a great entertainer, and I imagine when I watched the video of him doing it, nobody was expecting for that to pop out. And then when he did it, everybody was like, oh my God, wow. And so, so that happened today. And yeah, he used to get the people involved. I used to watch videos of his concerts, and these white women would be passing out, turning red, falling out of their chairs. I mean, they would be like really going in, right? Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. So they would be really going in, right? And they used to get involved in his whole concert and everything. I mean, they idolized this man. A lot of people did. But when I would see people passing out, having to be carried out on stretchers, and I'm just like, I'm watching the same song he's performing, and I'm not about to have a heart attack. But people like who they like. And Michael Jackson back in the day used to have people passed out. So anyway, y'all, that's it for that story. Moving on to the next story. This one was a sad story, right? This was really, really, really sad. So mother, 19-year-old Jayla Henderson, she recently gave birth to a daughter, and unfortunately, when in the hospital, her daughter passed, okay? She said that she had noticed that burn marks were on her daughter's face, and she was trying to figure out what the heck is that, why is burn marks on her face? And so because of that, the hospital had transferred the baby to 2 different hospitals. But while she was in these 2 different hospitals, right, they were giving this baby various drugs, which led to her untimely death. This is ridiculous. This should never happen. In 2025, as advanced as we are still very much in the digress when it comes to the care and mistakes that just should not happen, right? Things just shouldn't happen. And this is one of them things that just should not happen. First of all, I have so many questions about this story, because how in the world, if I just gave birth, that you are moving my baby around to 2 different hospitals where I am not? If my baby get moved to a place, I'm going to a place. Wherever my baby is getting moved to, that's number 1. Number 2, in the hospital that she gave delivered at, why couldn't they treat the baby and do what they needed to do as far as the face? Now, they claim that the hospital burned the baby, right? And I don't know. I'm just saying allegedly, because I don't know if that's true or not. However, if that happened, I would have serious questions. First of all, if I got in my baby and y'all burned her face, the way I would have cut up in that hospital, whether I just gave birth or not, would have been a shame. They would have had to call the police, right? I would have held my baby by my side, and I would not have let them further treat my child. This makes me think that maybe she didn't have any family. Maybe the child's father wasn't there, no support system, because this hospital was able to do what they do and move this baby about and had these issues going on with the baby. Hold on, y'all. Child, this air can be going down up in here. Because it's a little warm outside, so that's why it's on. But I'm like, it's a little nippy. So, yeah, this is just a sad story because I do not understand how this could even happen. And this is why, and I don't want to throw the race card. I know people were like, oh, they always throwing the race card, but she is an African American woman. And this is why, if I have another child, my delivery doctor, I'm sorry, because Caucasian people have said this, that I don't want to be treated by an African American doctor, whatever. But I feel I want an African American doctors when I'm delivering, because, and I only say that, no shade to any other race, right? I don't mind any other race, but it has been said that unless you have black doctors, they don't really care about your treatment when you are in delivery, when you're giving birth and things like that. And this is just my opinion, right? And so I feel that I would be more comfortable with my own race of doctor when I'm delivering, because I believe that they would maybe have my more of a best interest in heart at that point in time, unlike other races. Now, I know all of the doctors, please don't throw stones, okay? I know y'all take an oath and all of that, but because of situations like this and other situations that have happened when my people of women get in a delivery room and we have issues and complications, it's almost like they try to work on our behalf, but not really. And if I lost my child, if I just gave birth, I would be so messed up behind it. I really, really would. But the fact to know that I'm in a hospital that is supposed to be able to treat my child, and you all don't treat her, but you unalive her, that is heinous to me and just ridiculous. And it just should not have happened. And so if more come out about this story, I will keep you all up to date on what comes out. Moving on to the next story. Definitely praying for that young lady, because I can't imagine what headspace that will put you in as a young mom of 19 years old. That's just ridiculous. Moving on to the next story. I'm sure y'all probably heard about this story already. I'm not sure. So, three Texas girls are arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon to their mom because she turned off the Wi-Fi. Y'all heard what I said. They pulled a knife on their mom and proceeded to try to stab her because she turned off the Wi-Fi. Technology these days has become so advanced and has become so alluring that it is mind controlling people to the point where if they don't have it, they go crazy. Okay, there's a show actually on A&E where they it's like a little documentary reality show type situation where they actually do follow people that has an addiction to electronics, their phones, their tablets, the whole nine, to the tune where they can't even interact with the public, even their families, because they have an addiction to their devices. One lady was on this show and she had a cell phone, an iPad, a computer, all up at the same time, and she on them and everything. She has a daughter, her daughter trying to talk to her. Her daughter can't even get her to look at her because this lady was so invested in these devices, right? So, all that to say, technology is a good thing. Because I like it for business purposes. I like it how it allows us to be able to connect from people all over the world. But at the same time, it can be very addictive. And what's up, Aaron Jones? How are you? Welcome to the live. Technology can be very addictive. And these three Texas girls are proof of that. They stabbed or tried to stab their mom because she cut the Wi-Fi off. I would have told the police, you can take them away and put them somewhere else because what you're not going to do is have me living in fear in my own home. I gave birth to you and you're going to turn around and try to stab me because I turned the Wi-Fi off. You got to be kidding. That is insane. But then they interviewed a neighbor, right? And one of their neighbors said stuff like that always go down over there. Not like this, but different stuff always go down in that house. So what I'm gathering is that it's always an issue over there, and that whole family needs some family counseling and therapy. So, y'all let me know what y'all think about this story, but let me tell you something, baby. I wish a child would. See, what's happening is that society is allowing these children to be this bold because there is never any day of the week that when I was growing up that I would have ever even tried to raise my voice too loud at my mom, let alone take a knife and proceed to try to unalive her because she turned off the Wi-Fi. Like, that could have never happened in my family. But society has made these children feel like they have all of these rights. Like, don't hit me because I'm gonna call the police because that's abuse. You know, and I can do what I want, and you can't do this, and you have to take care of me because you're my guardian and I'm a minor. Like, they know the law more than some of the lawyers, you know, and so it's just really ridiculous how this even was a thing. Like, the enemy is so manipulating our young people. It's just at an alarming rate for you to even come up against your mom. That means those kids have no respect and fear. And I'm not saying fear like trembling fear, but they don't have any fear as far as the respect level of their mom. Because there's no way that this should have even been a thought in your mind to do anything like that. But they did, and now they arrested the girls. Now, they did not give us the ages of the girls. And could you imagine 3 teenage girls coming up against you as the mother to try to stab you? Thank God the mom, you know, was able to get out of the situation, because there's a story, if y'all go research it, where twin girls actually unalived their mom and set her up and did all type of crazy stuff to the mom. But the mom had been calling the police in that story several times to get these girls arrested or out of her home because they kept trying to do stuff to her, and they finally succeeded with the twin girls, right? And then they went to school and act like nothing happened after they had unalived their mom. But they ended up finding out that they had did it and arrested the girls. So we might get into that story on this channel. It's an old school story, but it was very crazy. But these 3 girls, they're arrested right now. I don't know their ages, but thank God the mom did not lose her life due to this situation, y'all. Let's move on to the next story, okay? Dawn Robinson, y'all know, one of the members of the group back in the day, En Vogue. Okay, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. That group, right? Dawn Robinson came out on an interview with Angela Yee, right? And she wanted to dispel the rumors or the myth. So y'all remember she came out with a story. She came out with a story a couple of months ago. We see her on her, I guess it was an Instagram live or whatever she was doing, right? And she was saying how she was living in her car, okay? And then we got Jermaine Dupri that had came out after she had left the video and said, how you gonna be living in your car when you got an assistant, and if you were hard up for money, ain't no way you could be living in your car with an assistant. And instead of reaching out to her to help her, he criticized her. So she came out recently and said that living in her car was a choice, that she could have stayed at a hotel or stayed with a friend or stayed wherever, but living in her car was a choice that she wanted to make, right? And she says not only that, she says she only really ran into Jermaine Dupri maybe once in her singing career. And so he doesn't know her. And instead of criticizing her, he should have reached out to help her. And if not, then he should basically zip it because you don't know me. That's what Dawn Robinson said, not me. My thing is this, I agree with her. I also said when I saw the video, I said this lady can't be homeless because her hair was laid. So, like she said, living in the car was a choice for her. It wasn't because she had to be there. And some people will probably think, who wants to live in a car, right? But if you look on YouTube and you Google some things, some people have actually got minivans and different things that they have turned into a home, almost like a trailer park. They got a home on wheels and they are fine and content with it. And the people, they figure out a way, they got a sink in their van, they figure out a way to brush their teeth and wash and live and everything like that. I mean, the way rent is renting, I'm just saying, that's not a bad idea to look into. So all I'm saying is this, you know, you never know people's situation, why they do what they do. But if she says she's content where she's living at, child, let that lady breathe and let her live. In my opinion, Jermaine Dupri, you need to worry about your own business. Mind your own business. If you're not going to reach out to this lady to say to this lady, you know, what's going on? I heard about this. Are you okay? Do you need help? If you're not going to care about somebody and really help them, then keep your opinions to yourself. And I agree with her on this. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's move on to the next story. Lizzo. Okay, this story is going to be about Lizzo. Lizzo is set to star in, and she is producing this movie that's coming out. I guess it's going to be a documentary about Rosetta Tharpe. Okay. Rosetta Tharpe was an iconic guitar player and singer and songwriter, okay? And she has influenced people like Elvis, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Johnny Cash, okay? The film will highlight her career and her life as a closeted queer woman, okay? So Lizzo is set to play that. Y'all let me know if y'all are interested in watching that movie, if y'all gonna go see it. I may watch it, and if I watch it, I will probably come out and review it and give my point of view on it. But y'all let me know what y'all think of it. I never heard of Rosetta. I think that's her name, Rosetta Tharpe. I hope I'm saying it right. I never heard of her, but apparently she was out back in the day when Elvis and all of them were around, kicking it in the music industry. And so Lizzo is going to be doing that. And so we shall see what it is. And while we're on Lizzo, right? So this is another story. So Young Miami, right? And this is all going to Lizzo. Young Miami came out, right? And she was doing an interview with Shannon Sharpe. And she was talking about how in the industry, you know, people are never satisfied with the way an artist look. Whether you're skinny, big, whatever, they don't care. They always got something to say. And she used Lizzo as an example. She said, for example, Lizzo lost this weight, and she said she thinks she looks great. But now when people look at her, they're like, ew, you know. So Lizzo took what she said in the ill comment as a diss to her in a way, and she called Young Miami to ask her what she meant. Now I'm confused because when I saw the interview, I knew exactly what Young Miami was trying to say. Okay, so Young Miami, if y'all don't know, she is a part of the group City Girls, and she is one member of that dual group. So she had a recent interview with Shannon Sharpe, and that's one of the parts of the interview that came out. So Lizzo took offense, reached out to her and called her. And I'm just like, Lizzo, why are you taking offense? The girl, what she said was self-explanatory. It didn't need no explaining. Had you called me, I would have been like, listen here, Lizzo, why don't you go ahead and watch the interview again, and you will understand what I was trying to say. It wasn't a diss to you. It was really a diss to the industry and the fans and things of that nature, how they treat artists, whether your weight is up, down, or indifferent. You know, so I don't understand why she took offense to that. But my thing is, what I'm hoping is that Lizzo don't let this weight loss go to her head, okay? Because some people, when they lose weight, they tend to start acting different. They tend to start feeling themselves because, you know, they able to get in some sizes they ain't got in never in life, or haven't been in a long time. They looking different and they feeling different. And so all of that endorphins from losing the weight ends up going right to their head, and they end up acting up. Okay, so I'm hoping Lizzo isn't one of them people that's going to allow that to happen, because I think that phone call with Young Miami was unwarranted, because it's like, girl, I said what I said. How do you not understand what I said? Because it was basically self-explanatory. But I hope Lizzo don't go around trying to pick with people because of the recent weight loss. Okay, girl, you look good. You know, go about your life, try to build your career, and stop trying to pick fights. Next story, y'all. The judge in the Diddy case dismisses Lil Rod's RICO and emotional distress claims that was filed against Diddy. Okay, so Diddy news. We thought we was going to get around it. We ain't. Y'all know Lil Rod was one of the producers for Diddy, and he came out and filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming that he did some sexual acts against him and some other things, okay? And so the judge dismissed 5 of 9 of his claims. So he still has claims that he has out there that is against Diddy, but some of them the judges said, we're going to dismiss this. Some of the claims were a breach of contract, emotional distress, trafficking victims. So all of those got dismissed. So the other things, as far as maybe the sexual acts or whatever, the judge may still allow those to be submitted into the case. We don't know. But his lawyer is Tyrone Blackburn. And the lawyer warned Tyrone Blackburn about filing inaccurate legal statements, accusations, and personal attacks. I feel like Blackburn, and is he the lawyer that's representing all of the, I have to look that up, representing all of the people. I think he is. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments. However, if he is, this dude needs to get his stuff together, because Diddy's defense team could say because of his reputation, all of this should be thrown out, because now he's making up stuff. So how do we know what is real, what is fake, what is this, what is that, right? And if that's the narrative that they're going to try to spin, because if I was Diddy's lawyer, that's what I would do. They could possibly get this man off from a lot of stuff, and actually have him as time served, or even have him as paying some type of hefty fine to the city or victims or whatever, you know. So these lawyers need to get this stuff together. If you're going to bring out a case against a music mogul such as Diddy that has a lot of influences and things like that in the industry, then you need to make sure you got your stuff together, okay? And not be just throwing out stuff because you're thinking, okay, he's accused of all of these things, so whatever I say should be believed. No, sir. Make sure your information is accurate and you know what you're talking about. So we shall see what happens further with that case. If anything else drops, I will let y'all know. Moving on to the next story. United Airlines flight makes a U-turn, y'all. These flights lately, I don't know what is going on. If they are hiring Temu pilots or what. I don't know what's going on. And this ain't no shade to Temu, because Temu got some good stuff, right? But we all know what I mean when I say Temu, okay? Because it's a cheaper way to go when you're looking for certain things. So I don't understand why this was even a thing. Now, here's the story. So the flight was going, right? 2 hours into the flight, the pilot makes a U-turn because he forgot his passport. I couldn't have been on that flight and been 2 hours in and he had to turn around. I would have been like, so now I'm losing 2 hours? And this is why I would have been mad. Now, they gave the passengers a $15 meal voucher. What the heck is that going to do for you wasting 2 hours of my time? Now, it was departing from Los Angeles at 2 p.m. on Saturday, March 22nd, and it was headed for China, which is a 13-and-a-half-hour flight. The pilot turned around and landed in San Francisco. So this is why I would have been mad, because the flight is 13-and-a-half hours. And you going to sit up here and waste 2 hours and turn around and all of a sudden you forgot. You should have double checked and triple checked your bag before getting on that plane, especially when you know the flight is going to China, sir. I want to know what would have happened though, because if he pulled into the airport and landed, is there a procedure in China? Do they come right on and check his passport? I don't know. Like, is it that he would not have been able to get off of the airplane? Because I would have been like, well, sir, I guess your hotel room is going to be on this aircraft. And I think that's what it is. Like, I think because he flew to China, of course he would have probably slept there, stayed there until it was time for him to leave, because it's not like you can turn around and fly right back. You know, that's a long flight, right? So I'm thinking that if he didn't have his passport, then he wouldn't have been able to enter China. Oh, well, I would have been like, well, he's going to have to just live on the plane. Because I would have been pissed. So they ended up getting a whole new crew, though, when they landed in San Francisco. And I bet they did. Because I know the people on the flight was so mad. I wish I could find somebody that was on that flight to interview them. Because that is wild for you to sit up there and be into a flight thinking you on your way. It's already a long flight. Wouldn't, like me, when I get on a flight, child, I go to DC a lot because that's where I'm from. And so that flight is only an hour and 30 minutes. Child, 15 minutes into the flight, I be in the chair like, I sleep. So if I'm asleep on the flight and I wake up 2 hours and we going in the opposite direction, or they coming over the intercom making an announcement, child, could you imagine how that cockpit was with where the passengers was at? They were probably so pissed off, because I know I would have been pissed off. However, they had to make a U-turn, and they got a whole new crew. Because I'm telling you now, if they kept the same crew, it would have been a rough flight, because that crew would have burnt them up. The passengers would have burned them up. I'm telling you, it would have been a rough flight for that crew. So I see why they had to get a whole new crew, okay? Last story and next story, y'all. Thank y'all for being here with me. Shout out to the replay gang. Go ahead and make sure y'all liking this video and y'all drop in the comments what story was interesting to you and what you thought about that particular story. Last story is Nelly. Nelly does an interview. I can't remember who he was interviewing with, but the person that asks about him and Ashanti's marriage, and he speaks on that, and he says that, yeah, you know, we got married, of course. And he says he did not want her to be a baby mama. He said after she got pregnant, they decided just to go ahead and do it because he didn't want her to be a baby mama. You know, I feel like, and Nelly has other children, right? So he has the baby mamas. But I like this because I feel that shows Nelly's maturity and his growth. Y'all know back in the day, him and Ashanti did date and they broke up. It didn't work out. But they circled back and found that this will work. We do like each other, you know? And even the host of the show that he was on speaking about it said that sometimes when you're in a relationship with somebody, it doesn't mean no. It just may mean not right now. And that is a very true statement. It could very well, they could have both been immature. They could have both not been ready to be with each other. But the fact that they circle back, have a child together, and are married is a beautiful thing because he definitely has other children and he didn't marry those women, or so I think. Like, let me know if this is Nelly's first marriage. I believe it is. I believe it is. However, for him to speak highly of her and say, I didn't want her to be a baby mama is a very beautiful thing. And I think that that speaks volumes to his maturity. Okay. Now, again, I don't know Nelly personally, but for you to come out of your mouth as a man to make a statement like that, to me, is very mature of you to do. Okay. So I hope they have a very successful marriage. I hope they live happy together, and that, you know, their child is healthy, happy, and that everything is gravy in their relationship, and that they do well. Because even when they circled back and started dating again, you could visibly see the happiness on Nelly's face. I know when women are happy, it's awesome, but when men are happy, it is doubly awesome, because men are taught to be this strong man and take care of business and stuff like that, and don't have no emotions and things like that, because that's feminine or whatever. And in this generation we live in, it's a lot of sassy men that's going around acting up, right? But for men, when they get really happy and they're able to share their emotions, you know, especially with other people, I think it's just a beautiful thing. I love it. So hopefully Nelly and Ashanti live a long life together, and yeah, that their marriage works. Okay. So that's it for my hot topics, y'all. That's all I had today. I have to go and get ready for work. If y'all know, like in the beginning of the video, like I said, I was supposed to be out here at 6:30. I had the banner up. I had everything ready to go, and y'all, I overslept. So again, like I say, forgive me for that, but don't hold it to me. I did come out and give y'all the topics. Normally I go over the review of what I did. However, I'm kind of pushed for time at this moment, and so I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and watch it on the replay. Make sure you liking the video. Make sure you get in the comments and get some chatter going. You know what I'm saying? Get chatter going about the topics. And make sure, most importantly, you are subscribing to the Redefine Me channel. We growing over here, y'all. We are so growing. I'm so excited about it. But my goal for real is to get to 1K subscribers. That is my goal. That is my goal. And my goal to do that, and I want it to really happen in 2 months. Like, I am at 774 subscribers at this point. And a lot of people, when I check my analytics, it's a lot of people that watch my videos. It's a lot of people, you know, that tune in, but y'all not subscribing. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and help me on this journey. This is our channel. I know I am the overseer of the channel, but this is our channel, and so I value you all's input and feedback and things like that to help us grow over here so that we can help one another. And that is what my channel is all about. And so I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Again, sorry for the tardiness. However, I was here and am here doing these topics, and I hope you all have a happy and beautiful Thursday until we meet again.